I'm Dean Ingrid Fulmer. I'm the new Dean of the School of Labor and Employment Relations. I'm trying to get around to meet everyone, but if I haven't met you, that's who I am, and hopefully I'll meet you before the evening's over. I've been here just over 2 months, and so I've been getting to know folks, touring the building, meeting alums, and it's so great of you to have this party in my honor. It's an honor. I'm just kidding, of course. We have a really fun and engaging presentation for you this evening to showcase a little bit of the history of the school, and I promise you'll enjoy it and it'll be fun. And I'm excited that we have some of our favorite people, alums and other friends of the school here to help tell this story. But before we get started, it's my honor to welcome Chancellor Robert Jones to greet you all this evening. I've been here only 2 months, but I understand that he's visited LER regularly in the last couple of years, and that he really enjoys getting together with you all. So he's back with us tonight. And in fact, the very week that I interviewed for this position, LER hosted the Chancellor's Medal ceremony to honor Reuben Soderstrom, and you can see him out there wearing his hardware proudly. And we're really honored. The Chancellor's Medallion is a great honor, and we're really excited that it's part of our school's history now. So with that, I'll invite Chancellor Jones to come up and make a few comments.
Well, Dean, let me start by saying, on behalf of all of us here at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, we want to welcome you again to this amazing leadership position, and we'll have a bit more to say about the Dean shortly. But I'm here mainly, and I understand that this is supposed to be a lightning round speaking opportunity. That's just like asking a Baptist minister to be brief, so. Or asking a university professor to give a lecture in 10 minutes. It just doesn't work out well. But I'll give it my best shot. I am sincerely very pleased to be here and to welcome each and every one of you on behalf of our faculty, staff, and alum. And it is always my great privilege to be able to congratulate the School of Labor and Employment as you celebrate your 75th anniversary. And I love the sign out front, +1. I see the college does math the same way the Big Ten academic alliance. And that new math is a little bit challenging for us. But I realize that this is the 76th year, but I think it's fitting and proper that we didn't allow a little global pandemic to get in the way of celebrating this milestone 75th birthday, and so we could not be happier about this. And this is a significant day, not only for this college, but for the entire university, because we know that this college has always been, since its inception, 75, 76 years ago, at the intersection of scholarship around workforce development. In fact, we were doing workforce development before there was a term, workforce development. And it really is one of the exemplary academic units. You reimagined and reinvented and actually helped the whole state, if not the nation, rethink how the world understands everything from the labor movement to how we create workplace and positive and adaptive environments, and particularly in the rapid changing challenges of the 21st century economy. So as the Dean indicated, yeah, I've been spending quite a bit of time here. So you guys like to have parties, don't you? I spend more time in this college than any of the other 14 colleges at this university. And I'm sure you think that that's probably the way the world should be, right? You know, from the rededication of this building to the dedication of the Reuben Soderstrom statue to the presentation of the Chancellor's Medallion, I'm here a lot, and I always enjoy being in this room, out on the patio. And Reuben's still looking pretty good out there with his medallion, looking quite dapper. And I'm sure you must bring it in, because otherwise it would have gotten a little bit weathered and torn. But I can tell you that was a very proud day, not only for me as Chancellor, but for the entire university. And while we're on the topic of impact, and this college has truly had impact, we regard it as one of the critical assets that's part of the land-grant mission for this, one of the original 34 land-grant universities. And we know that not every university that's land-grant like us have the benefit of having a college like this, and so we're kind of unique in that regard. We think of what sets us apart, and I'm very big on comparative advantage. This college clearly gives us a comparative advantage as it relates to our land grant mission. And so we are celebrating 75 years for the course. I think there's a lot of reasons to celebrate, but one, of course, is the appointment of our new Dean Ingrid Fulmer, who is a world-renowned, world-class scholar, academic leader, and she is, just by the way, the first woman to lead this college in its history. Let's start out as a side note. But that's just a side note. It's the experience and the skills that she brings to this college that I can tell you really did make us all very, very excited. I remember vividly. And you all remember Andreas Gangelaris, right? He hadn't been gone that long, so certainly you haven't forgotten our provost, who you can look at the people he's hired during his 4.5 years at this university. He really did embody every ounce of our commitment to excellence, diversity, and equity. Andreas didn't give lip service to this. He was absolutely committed to it. And for those of us who knew Andreas, I have to say that when he called me up, or we were sitting in a meeting and he told me that about his intent to appoint Ingrid, he was almost giddy. And those of you who know Andreas, that is antithetical to everything that we know about Andreas, right? But he was so excited, Ingrid, about you joining us, and I am very excited as well as the Chancellor, and we look forward to you continuing to advance this college to the next level of excellence, and we'll be there by your side, and I will show up as in many events as necessary to assist you in achieving those goals. So, but anyway, you know, I had the opportunity to begin my tenure here during the university's sesquicentennial. Try to say that fast, a couple, 3 times. That was the 150-year anniversary of the founding of this university. So Ingrid, you coming here during the 75th plus 1 year of this college being founded, I think is an opportunity for really to celebrate the future. And I've checked with my staff, and they don't anticipate that I'll be around for the sesquicentennial celebration of LER, but I don't think I'll be here. I don't think they're going to give me that many appointments to do this awesome job. I'll be around somewhere. Don't be laughing. I'll be somewhere. I'll be around somewhere watching very closely. But I can tell you, I most certainly believe that 75 years from now, LER will still be this critical asset that gives this university a comparative advantage vis-a-vis not only our land-grant peers, but all the public, and I believe even at private higher education. So we look forward to your leadership. So, happy birthday, happy 75th anniversary. I was almost tempted to break out into Stevie Wonder's happy birthday to you, but I've already violated the framework about rapid remarks. But thank you for allowing me to be with you. Dean, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Appreciate those comments, and thanks for your warm wishes. So now it's my honor to introduce our history lesson for the evening. We have alumni and friends sharing lightning thoughts, as the Chancellor kind of foreshadowed, on their association with the school. They'll be sharing memories to kind of guide us through the history of the 75, 76 years that we've been in existence. So to set the stage, I'll reflect on where we started. Our oldest living graduate, Mr. Peter Liveright, couldn't be with us this evening, but he turns 101 in October. In 2014, he joined us as our commencement speaker, and he recalled his time here back in the day. And I quote, "When I came to the Institute," and it's called the Toot, for those you know young uns, it was back in the day, it was called the Toot. It was the second year of its existence. The staff and student body were small and informal. In our small classes, the interactions with professors were quite casual. Male students far outnumbered female students. The first year I was there, we were on the top floor of one of the classroom buildings, more like an attic. I remember being able to hear the sounds of the Illinois marching band rehearsal wafting up to that high elevation. My years at ILIR were an unforgettable educational odyssey, he says. So as you can see, and as you will learn more about in a moment, many things have changed since then. We have this beautiful space, for one. Our class sizes have grown. What we teach has evolved, and how we teach it has evolved. We do have a few more women now. And the faces of our students have definitely changed. But we do still strive to be that unforgettable educational odyssey that he referred to back then. Now, I don't want to give away what our guests are going to say, because they've been really working hard on this. But I can say that I'm proud of our humble beginnings in the attic, which was Mumford Hall, and honored to be here as your first female dean. And it's really amazing as I learn the history of the school and get to know people, that I'm following the footsteps of such amazing people as Robin Fleming, Martin Wagner, Milt Derber, and Walt Franke. It's really awesome to stand here at the intersection of so many perspectives on labor and employment relations, and to really bring all those pieces together so successfully and seamlessly to provide our students with the very best preparation for careers in this incredible, ever-changing world that we're facing. It's even more amazing, and the issues are so much more complex than they even used to be. Many things change, but since 1946, one thing has remained constant. We're a proud family of scholars and practitioners that together, through our teaching and scholarship and outreach and professionalism, serve workers and organizations throughout the state, and the country, and even the world now. And so we bring so many different disciplinary backgrounds and viewpoints together, and to date, close to 4,000 graduates, almost, have benefited from this remarkable multidisciplinary experience with the school and incredible faculty. So, let's learn a little bit about how we got to this point. So I want to first invite Dr. Carl Soderstrom to come up, tell us a little bit about how the school began.
Thank you, Chancellor. I'm always glad to be here when the Chancellor's here, because for some reason it's always during party time. And I must say that as an alum, the University of Illinois is really doing well under your leadership. Thank you. And our new dean, oh my gosh, we had a nice chat this afternoon. Thank you, and good luck, and we're honored to have you here, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight. I got this strange call about a month ago. It was our friend Nell, and she's like, "Dr. Soderstrom, I want you to talk for 3 minutes on the history of the labor movement." And the interesting thing about that phone call is it took her 10 minutes to tell me how to talk for 3 minutes. So I don't know today if she was serious or not. Actually, it's a great honor to be here and carry our family tradition through with what's been going on here, and it makes me so proud. And I know my grandfather, looking down from above, couldn't be prouder if what he sees here tonight. He was an amazing man. He was strong physically because he went to work at age 9 under child labor in a blacksmith shop. And he made steel rims with a handle and an anvil for 3 years. So he had a right hand, well, I must say a right arm, that was very, very powerful. And it gave him a lot of confidence. He worked there for 3 years, 150 miles away from where his family was, and he had to send the money home for taxes. His father was a Swedish Lutheran minister, so he learned a lot of righteousness, and he loved people, and millions of people loved him. But I think it was that faith background that gave him the motivation to be such a leader of caring for people and making sure that people had better lives. He was of average weight, but he had a very quick, welcoming smile. And he used to say that there was never a man that he met that he didn't like. He said some of them had bad ideas, but he liked them as people. And so I think that was kind of a disarming way he had in his many negotiations. He often said that when he would go to Springfield, he was a state legislator as well, it was always pleasing to him that businesses would come in with 5 or 10 lawyers to debate a topic or a bill that they didn't want passed for the workers, and it would just be him. And he would out-debate them and get the bill passed. And he was always proud of that because he never had more than a 6th grade education. He was a very captivating speaker, not only in small gatherings, but in large crowds of thousands. He was very perseverant. He never gave up. If he couldn't get everything he wanted this year, he'd get part of it and come back next year. He was very kind. And to me, he liked watermelon, and he liked Swedish ginger snaps, and I called him Pom Pom. I don't know why. He went through so many issues in his life that what he did was he saw things that he didn't like child labor or women being abused in the workplace, financially, no insurance for old age, no Medicare, no workman's comp, no unemployment. And when he saw those grievances, he went and created the laws, passed the laws, and then as president of the AFL for 40 years, he implemented the laws. The one thing that he found was that everyone needed an education. Everyone needed more of an education that they had, especially working people. He self-educated himself in the Streeter Public Library, and from there he came down here. He gave lectures here in the Labor Building, well, before it was a building, but out at Atherton Park early on, and came every summer and gave seminars. And from that, he decided that Labor should have a college. It was really, really interesting because this college was born through his mind. At an Illinois Federation of Labor convention, 1942, a resolution was passed under his guidance, and we documented that in the book 40 Gavels, that the University of Illinois be asked to create a business college. And he did this basically with his own perseverance. The Illinois Manufacturers Association in those days fought every step of the way. They fought the money, they fought the college, they fought the dean, they fought the president, they even fought at the legislative level. But my grandfather got the bills passed. This whole college was started with labor money. It came from the Illinois Federation of Labor and many unions around the state. And they started the college, and then a few years later, they did the same thing for the building. And so that's why it was so proud for me a few years back to work with Dean Drasko and look at everybody remembers the garbage dump we had out here. And we decided not to preserve it. But we started thinking about what this could be and have evenings like tonight where we can be outside enjoying together. And so we're very, very proud to have worked with the college and even have some other ideas, but to work with the college and put this statue of Reuben up there so that it can be inspirational. When you read the book, he's a man who created so many things that we now have as the benefit of. And as we did all that, my son, who helped me write the book, said, well, you know, Grandpa worked for the last 100 years, if you look at it. He was born in 1888, and he's been gone 50 years. But all the things that he did in the legislature and did for working people now are done through our Human Resources Department or carried on within industry and companies to make life better for people. So my son Bob said, well, you know what, we got to do something for the next 100 years. So from that, we started the Reuben G. Soderstrom International Professorship, which is here, and Ryan Lamar, part of that. And so it's our family's love and tradition for the University of Illinois that we now have an international professorship, and what Reuben did to help citizens of Illinois and citizens of this country in the past 100 years, we hope now that through this professorship and some maybe annual seminars and things from leaders around the world, we can help improve the lives of people all across the world. So with that and our memory of my grandfather and what the work is that all of you have done, that's so incredibly amazing to carry on that dream and to see this building and this dedication to this cause with the Chancellor and our Dean. We are very, very grateful. And I want to thank you all for having us here again, and we appreciate it. And know that 2 minutes, 59 seconds.
Thank you, Carl. I'm Bruce Carmichael. I graduated with my master's degree in '76. It was 1976, not 1876. I spent 32 years in the corporate sector with Standard Oil, Amoco, and BP, and then 10 years in the nonprofit sector with the YMCA, all in the senior HR roles, and retired in 2019. I haven't been here for about 5 or 6 years, and it's absolutely amazing. Not only the physical plant, but the sense of culture and the buzz around here. So, Dean, you're coming to a great, great place that we love so much. I'm going to spend the next couple minutes now, not three, couple minutes, talking about two things: the good old days of LER and family connections. As you've heard, our friends in the labor movement established this wonderful school in 1946. 1946 found us 1 year away from the end of World War II. The American economy was booming, and about 30% of U.S. workers were represented by a labor union versus about 10% today. We were small. We were not well known. Even when I was here in the mid-'70s, I'd have to explain we're across from the Armory and the ice rink. Oh, I know, that little building there. But that has changed. We were an institute, not a school. Our leader was a director, not a dean, and we've heard about some of the amazing directors we had. The first individual I met was a former director, Professor Martin Wagner, and it was the summer before I was on campus in the fall. He asked me to join him in his office. He had a huge 2-foot statue of W.C. Fields, so I thought, oh, it's going to be a wonderful conversation. And he had a gravelly voice, and he said, "Mr. Carmichael, why are you here?" To this day, I don't remember what I said, but before I took my first day of classes, I learned a lesson that has been with me for my entire life. Everything I do now, I know why I am here. So I really appreciate Professor Wagner, and he was world-renowned for his collective bargaining experience and the ability to translate to others. Computerization and technology. Here's what we use today. If you are under 60 years or so old, you probably don't know what this is. This was the dreaded IBM punch card. This is how we accessed computers. Typically, you would have one punch card for each line of code. You'd walk it over to the computer science building before 10 p.m. Invariably at 8 a.m. you would find what they called a dump. Page after page after page of errors. So that was how we did it. We also had electric typewriters, rotary telephones, and lots and lots and lots and lots of paper. You've heard references to the lack of diversity. Our leaders were white male. When I was here in '75 and '76, I'd say probably 75% of the student body was male, white, and primarily American. So things have really changed. In terms of family connections, I think the the song We Are Family by Sister Sledge should be the unofficial theme song for LER because of all the family connections. And by way of example, I'm a third generation alumni. My grandfather, my father, my aunt, my uncle all graduated from this great university and dedicated the rest of their lives to making sure that this would be here for generations to come. My uncle Jim graduated with his master's degree in LER in the mid-50s when he told us that his classes were held above a drugstore in downtown Champaign. That shows you how much things have changed. My aunt and uncle realized the critical importance of funding for young people to either make the decision to go to school, or maybe as important, the ability to stay in school. And so they established the James D. DiOrio Student Achievement Award at LER. And that's just one example. 20 years ago, we had one family scholarship at LER, and that was the Donna and William McPherson Scholarship. We now have 12 family scholarships. I'm so excited, even though I might not be here for our 100th anniversary, but I'm convinced when we do convene for the 100th, we're going to be stronger, we're going to be larger, we're going to be more impactful and more diverse. With that, it's my pleasure and honor to introduce Joyce Ingram. In addition to her many achievements, Joyce is the first individual to receive the joint LER and law degree at the University of Illinois.
Chancellor Jones, Dean Fulmer, everyone here this evening. My master's in labor and industrial relations and Juris Doctor degrees were wings beneath my wings that empowered my 38+ year career, having served as an HR executive and leader in the higher education, commercial, and not-for-profit sectors. It all started with outstanding professors and administrators who were committed to excellent student experiences and academic success. They imparted the knowledge and wisdom that helped build my character and competence and supported my becoming the person, professional, and alumna I am today. So, way back in 1977, we started with 3 students in the new joint degree program that was created through collaboration between the Institute of Labor and Industrial Relations and the College of Law. There was a desire and need to increase diversity within the student body, and as is true to form, recruitment of candidates extended well beyond the boundary of Illinois. Notification of the program made its way into the history department at Livingstone College in Salisbury, North Carolina, a small historically black college that boasted approximately 800 students at the time, compared to the 30,000 plus students at the U of I at Urbana-Champaign. It was a requirement to apply, be accepted, and meet the graduation standards separately for both the Institute and College of Law. My educational journey was eye-opening, challenging, and most rewarding. And I was able to graduate in January 1981 with 2 degrees, not just 1. Go figure. Since that time, the joint degree program has produced over 45+ graduates who are making a difference in the workplace and societies, both nationally and globally. So thank you, Professors Wally Hendricks, Milton Gerber, Martin Wagner, Walt Franke, the many other professors, administrators, past and present, and of course our alumni, for building a foundation that continues to be strengthened and reinforced while ensuring student success for all who matriculated at the then Institute of Labor and Industrial Relations and now the School of Labor and Employment Relations. So in summary, a true constant is change. And I must say, the School of Labor and Employment Relations embrace it well, as well as the university. From institute to school, director to dean, and now we have Dean Fulmer. Congratulations and welcome. Assistant and associate directors to assistant and associate deans, AM, which is my grade, to MHRIR, longer and more valuable. Embracing compliance, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And with 30% of our current enrollment comprised of outstanding international students from many nations abroad, we have and continue to embrace change. So with all of that said, I believe what we do here is for the greater good of the university and all communities that benefit from our mission and vision for teaching, research, and service. So happy 75+1. Thank you. 2 minutes and 58 seconds. I would like to now introduce you to Mr. Dan Spaulding, our 2022 Alumni of the Year.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Dan Spaulding. I graduated in 2000. I'm the Chief People Officer of Zillow Group, headquartered in Seattle. It's the modern punch card that somebody looks at whenever they want to snoop on somebody else's home value. And I am so honored to be here, and thank you to Dean Fulmer and to the Chancellor. We do have a lot of parties here. That is the expressed goal of the school. But here to talk about the continuous evolution of the School of Labor and Employment Relations. When it was founded by Reuben, it actually started as the Institute of Labor Relations, but quickly changed its name in its second year to the Institute of Labor and Industrial Relations to reflect the important, complex, and ever-evolving nature of the relationship between corporations and the workers that build corporations. And the important balance that the school always represents in terms of making sure that both sides of that equation balance. Because if they don't, then we can't achieve the dream of advancing our greater society. Other changes came in time as the AM degree gave way to the MHRIR degree in 1997. And of course, the greatest innovation brought in by the class of 2000, the establishment of the Thursday night tradition in 1999. But just as important as naming and degree changes have been for this school, it's been the evolution of the curriculum and the evolution of the faculty and who teach that curriculum that have propelled us forward into the future. A program that started with a basic understanding of dispute resolution, collective bargaining, and labor issues has since grown into a curriculum that also deals with everything from issues of diversity and equity in the workplace, compensation design, and HRIS, which unfortunately you do really need to know if you're currently in the program. These programs have always represented what will carry the school to its next 75 years. The fact that the very nature of employment never stays static. It will be different a year from now than it is today. And the only way you stay current in it is by evolving. And U of I and the school have done an amazing job of that. Now, I'm going to pass it to Pat Walsh.
Hi everyone, my name is Pat Walsh. I am an alum of the program from December of 2005 and spent most of my time with PepsiCo. Recently left to work as the head of HR for a small company called Oil Dry Corporation of America. I'm sure it's as commonly known as Zillow, so I'm sure you've all heard of it. No, the program here, it's an honor to be a part of any event that the program is putting on. I feel like, and I understand this will be recorded, my wife and daughter are not here tonight, but I still want to be clear about this. It's one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Coming to one of the best decisions I've made in my life. And so, I think I owe a lot to the program, and I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of, giving back. So one of the things that I'm going to touch on is about scholarships. And, you see around the wall here some of these corporations that have sponsored scholarships outside. You've got fellowships in the back. You've got some names outside. I think the opportunity to attend this institution, as everyone knows, is not always easy for everybody. And in my personal quick story, labor connection. My father was a heat and frost insulator, local 17, as his father was before him. So labor connectivity and great upbringing, but there was no college fund for me. And coming through here, I remember did my undergrad here in Illinois, worked through loans, et cetera, applied to the program. And I remember getting this letter one day that I had been awarded a Frito-Lay scholarship. And I remember thinking, what did I do to deserve this? And then I thought, well, that's dumb, don't ask questions. But it truly was game-changing for me because the opportunity to attend an institution like this, to come out without debt, to be able to embark on your career is really a unique opportunity that I think enabled me tremendously. And so, I think one of the exciting stories, and Bruce touched on a little bit, is how that support has grown over time, from the corporations you see on the wall to family scholarships to alumni. And recently, within the last few years, I had the opportunity to start a scholarship myself to support students coming through here. So I would say that it's really special to enable folks to get this experience of being a student here and the opportunities it provides. Blessed that I am in a position where I can help contribute to that. I would say for those of you in here that are current students or recent students, would encourage you to think about how you can continue to support the school as you go on your career, because I have no doubt that many doors will be open to you as they were for me and my fellow alums. Just look forward to more of this program providing a top education and career opportunities for folks many, many years in the future. So with that said, I will welcome up Kai Shen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kai Shen, Senior Consultant at EY, but most importantly, a proud 2017 LVR graduate. I have to say, right, so growing up in a small town in China years ago, never would I could ever imagine that years later, that Champaign, Illinois would become my second hometown. And I have to say, it feels amazing to be back at my home again. So, I don't know how many international students were there back in the days when LVR was initially founded in 1946, but I do know, right? But I do know that our founders will be so proud to see that years later, 76 years later, LVR has become this world-leading school with all of you, with 30% of our students coming from all across the globe, and has empowered countless of domestic and international talents to achieve success and bring dreams to life. So, also, as the only international alumni here today, I would also like to spend a minute sharing with you what does this experience mean to me, right? So that was over a decade ago, so please do not try to guess my age. There was once an opportunity in my high school, right, for one of the students out of 3,000 who came to the United States to study for free. So for me, myself, none of my parents had the opportunity to go to college, and my mom lost her job during the economic downturns in 1990s. And therefore, it is not an opportunity to learn, but more importantly, an opportunity to change my life that my family could never be able to afford. Right? So I was so determined that I'll get that only opportunity, right, to come to the US to study. However, as smart as you guys are, you probably already figured it out that the selected lucky one was not me, right? So I remember the night when the result came out. My mom came to my bedroom just to make sure that I was okay. And she told me, well, I know you may feel terrible at this moment, but guess what? Actually, I feel a little fortunate that you didn't get it, because US is so far away, and I've missed you terribly if you actually go. I don't know if she said that just to make me feel better, or she actually meant it, but I did fall asleep shortly afterwards. Right? So, my childhood story stopped there, but I'm so glad that my dream didn't. Years later, finally, after graduating from my undergrad in China, I was fortunate enough to get admitted to LER and meet all of you here. I received fellowship from Mr. Alan May and got my master's degree, and finally found a career that continues to help people and organizations to achieve success. Right? Until this very moment, I would say my LER experience continues to inspire, motivate, enables me to keep thinking, well, what is the next dream I would like to bring to life? It could be as simple as, how can I optimize the nature process? How can I better develop my talent during this new normal? Or how to better protect our workforce, right, when there is an economic downturn? All of these are so important questions, but yet awaiting a better answer. And I truly, truly believe that just as 76 years ago, right, nobody would ever know that the world would become this closely connected today, that our LER students today, all of you here, will be able to make another significant impact on people and organizations by providing a better answer to those questions with your passion, compassion, and endeavor to bring another dream to life. With that being said, I'm going to pass it to Princess. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. I wanted to start by saying thank you to everyone who gave such moving speeches before me. I know I took away from it a lot of nuggets of wisdom, and I hope that I can leave you all with something. So I also want to do a quick introduction of myself. So, hi, my name is Princess Draine, and I am a fall 2021 graduate, and I'm currently based in St. Louis, Missouri, where I work for PepsiCo. So as we can all see, thank you. So as we can all see, LER has come a long way in the last 75 plus 1 years. It has changed a lot since the program's first female graduate, Eva Galambos, crossed the stage in 1949, or since the first African American, Melvin Humphrey, graduated a year later in 1950. So when Nell asked me to write this speech about the history of LER and what it's like now, I thought about a lot of things. I thought about the day that Becky reached out to me and told me that I had been awarded the Aspire Master Fellowship, and I remember sitting on the kitchen table filling out the paperwork, crying so hard I thought that ink would smear and they would reject it, as if that would happen. I thought about making the decision to move across the country and leave my family and my partner during COVID, unsure if the classes were online or in person or where I was going to live, but deciding to do it anyways. And I thought about trying to prepare for recruitment, make friends, and stay engaged, all while behind a computer screen. I just thought about all of the uncertainty that I faced while trying to decide if LER was right for me. But fortunately it was. And I knew that it was the moment that I did my first visit, and I met Becky, who welcomed me with open arms and treated me as if I was more than just an enrollment number. Or when I was introduced to a group of students to hear what it was like, and I saw people who looked like me, who had similar backgrounds, and who were also from out of state. And they told me everything that the program had done for them and ensured me that I would be supported here and that I was in good hands. And I especially knew when Nell was working on my resume and connecting me to alumni and making sure that I knew about all of the opportunities that could be available to me. And she said this phrase that has stuck with me ever since. She said, look, right now you're good, you're really good. But I think that we can help you become great. Those who know me know that LER has a very special place in my heart for being a program that valued who I truly was and what I authentically brought to the table. It allowed me to meet my best friends who I still talk to every single day, even though we scattered all across the country, as all our alumni do after we graduate. And most importantly, it opened doors for me with keys that I myself would have never had access to. So thank you to everyone who makes LER what it is. I have loved learning about where we have been, seeing where we are, and I especially can't wait to see where we're going under our new Dean, Ingrid. So with that, I would like to pass it off to our Dean to finish us out.
Wow, so you see from these comments so far, what a special place this is to so many. And I really appreciate you all taking time, and you even stayed in. Nell's going to be proud of you for your 3 minutes. You all stayed in time. So I want to take just a couple of minutes to talk about what's next. So we've talked about our history. Where are we going forward? So, of course, the one thing we want to keep constant is the thing that makes us the most special. Dr. Soderstrom mentioned the importance of education to his grandfather. And without that commitment, we wouldn't be here today, none of us. Reuben talked about competent men and women as future leaders, and about labor leaders and university professors sharing their ideas and solutions. This continues to be our highest priority, and to do that, we'll be continuing to attract and bring together the very best of the best to tackle the challenging issues that will lie ahead. One way that we'll be sharing these ideas and solutions that I find very exciting is the recent directive and funding from the state of Illinois legislature that makes LER the home of a new Climate Jobs Institute. This institute is the first of its kind in the country, providing thought leadership, data, research, and educational opportunities to inform policymakers, industry, employers, labor organizations, in order to help the state transition smoothly toward a carbon-free, clean energy future. The Climate Jobs Institute here at LER will be a driving force to help ensure that the state and its residents have access to safe, well-paying jobs, and that the workforce is ready and prepared for the new jobs that are going to be coming as a result of this groundbreaking commitment. It really is amazing that Illinois is the first to do this. And many of these jobs don't even exist today, but they will be coming soon and will be ready. You'll be hearing more about this as we begin to move forward to recruit an executive director, so stay tuned. Another bit of what's new isn't really new, and that is we'll be continuing to bring together the best of the best to continue our high-quality educational programs, including our beloved master's program, which you're all so familiar with, and it's so important to all of us. Of course, that's going to continue to thrive. We've added, as you know, a high-quality online master's program, and it is doing great. We're looking forward to it. It gives us such an opportunity to reach a different audience that wouldn't otherwise be able to come here for full-time learning, and it's just another example of how we're really making an impact on the state. We've also created bite-sized pieces of our master's degree, delivering certificates to folks that are interested in kind of a smaller learning experience. But interestingly, some of those folks have decided, you know what, I want a little bit more. So we're hoping that that continues to be a feeder for our master's program. And of course, our PhD students who are developing and learning to disseminate knowledge are really learning from the best and benefit from studying from all your terrific professors and top scholars in the field. You know, you guys know them as professors in class, but these are some of the best in the world in terms of what they know and their educational backgrounds and their ability to develop new knowledge. So we all benefit from that. And of course, our labor education program is a really key component of the mission of the school, and it educates hundreds, possibly thousands, I'm not up on the latest numbers because I'm new, mostly union workers through their summer schools and summer institutes and other programs, and generate timely applied research and a lot of white papers on critical and very time-sensitive urgent workforce issues. So again, we're going to continue doing all those things that we've been doing and doing very well. Over the past 5 years, we've witnessed your commitment to our future, and we thank you. By your joining with us to meet our campaign goal for the With Illinois fundraising campaign. Together, we generated over $8 million to support student scholarships and faculty research. We met our goal with the help of almost 1,700 donors, that's pretty amazing, representing 43 states, 14 countries, and 3,600 separate gifts. And before that began, we completed the $6.2 million renovation of this great building that's revolutionized the student experience and given us a really nice outdoor patio to hang out and have drinks and have the Chancellor over. And you all made this possible. So walking around the building, as others have noted, you can see the names, sometimes faces on some of these plaques of the people who were not only the figurative pillars of the Institute, but who literally helped build these pillars of these physical structures. We thank you, and we know that your commitment through your time, talent, treasure, and just being part of our family will guide us through our next 75 plus 1 years. So feel free to have more food and drink, mingle amongst yourselves, and I understand from Corey that we have a really fun tailgate. It'll be my first tailgate here at Illinois, so I'm looking forward to it. 1 o'clock tomorrow, so we'll see you there. Corey has more details if you need it. Thank you, look forward to meeting with you, mingling a little bit later.